the grain and ground of joy for the farmers on the earth. All seemed to be going well. Odin found it hard to think of evil times, but he knew that the four frost giants were only waiting for a chance to bring trouble to his children. They were the ones who brought cold and ice to the world and shook the earth in the anger. They hated Odin and all the work of the gods. And from high on his throne, Odin looked down beyond the earth, deep into the gloomy land of his enemies. He saw dark figures of huge men moving about. They looked like evil shadows. He, the king of the gods, must have more wisdom. It was not enough just to see his enemies. He must know more about them. So Odin wrapped his tall figure in a blue cloak. Down from his throne he climbed. Down the broad windowed bridge he strode across the green earth till he came to one of the roots of the great evergreen tree. There, close by the tree, was a well full of flowers. The surface was so still, it was like a mirror, and it one could see pictures of things that had happened and things that were going to happen. But besides, the well sat an old man. His face was lined with the trouble of the world. His name was Mimir, which means memory. No one, not even the great Odin, could see the pictures in the well unless he first drank some of his water. Only Mimir could give the magic drink.
Odin H. Mimir, you will hold the knowledge of the past and the future in your magic waters. Let me have but one sip, then I can know enough to protect the men and the women of the earth from the hate of giants.
Mimir looked kindly at Odin, but he did not smile. Also, he spoke softly. His voice was so deep it reminded Odin of the distant roar of the ocean.
The price of wandering from this well is not cheap, and once you have drunk and gazed into the mirror of life, you may wish you had not, for sorrow and death, as well as joy, are pictured there. Think again before you ask to drink.
But once the king of the gods had made up his mind, nothing could change it. He was not afraid to look upon sorrow and death.
What is your price, H. Mimir?
You have worked hard to make the world. Only those who know hard work may drink from my well. However, that is not enough. What have you given up that is very dear to you? What have you sacrificed? The price of a drink must be great sacrifice. Are you still willing to pay the price?
Odin put his hands up to his bright blue eyes. Those two eyes had gazed across the world, from his high throne to the shining city of the gods. His eyes had taught him what was good and beautiful, what was evil and ugly. But those eyes had also seen his children, the men and women of the earth, struggling against the hate of the giants. One eye was a small sacrifice to win knowledge of how to help them, and without another thought, Odin plucked out one of his blue eyes and handed it to Mimir. Then Mimir smiled and gave Odin a horn full of waters of the world.
Drink deeply, brave king, so you may see all that you wish in the mirror of life. Drink deeply, brave king, so you may see all that you wish in the mirror of life.
Odin lifted the horn to his lips and drank. Then he knelt by the edge of the well and watched the creatures passing across its still and silent surface. When he stood up again, he sighed, for it was a Mimir had said. He had seen sorrow and death as well as joy. It was only the glorious promise of the end that gave him courage to go on. So Odin, the great king of the gods, became one-eyed. If you can find Mimir's well, you will see Odin's blue eye resting on the bottom. It is there to remind men and women of the great sacrifice he made for them.